Do you have any idea how much trouble kids can accidentally cause? Taking advantage of a stormy, lightning-filled night, they began the experiment. But tonight's electrical charge was far more intense than expected. When the experiment concluded, the fish in the jar had vanished, yet the water rippled as if something was still there. When Nick shined a flashlight into the jar, he discovered the dead fish hadn't just come back to life, it had turned completely transparent. Puzzled but unable to figure out why, Nick warned Bucktooth not to tell anyone what they'd done. He went to consult his teacher, asking why the same experiment had produced such different outcomes. The teacher explained, experiments rely not only on the mind but also on intuition. Even slight changes in variables can lead to entirely different results. Science can be used for good, but also for harm. That's why we must always proceed with caution. His words felt like a prophecy, and one that came true almost immediately. Bucktooth didn't keep his promise. He went straight to the other students and revealed Nick's secret experiment. Soon, a group of them decided to sneak into Nick's lab for a look. That same day, Nick's mom came upstairs to call him for dinner and saw the experiment diagrams on the blackboard, and then she spotted Buzz, the dog who was supposed to be dead. She screamed in terror. Hearing the commotion, Nick's dad rushed upstairs and was equally horrified by the scene. In the ensuing chaos, Buzz crashed into a mirror, perhaps frightened by his own reanimated appearance, and escaped through the skylight. Nick's father grabbed him, demanding to know what he had done. Once you cross the boundary between life and death, the consequences can be irreversible, he warned. Bringing the dead back to life only brings fear and unrest. Still, Nick's parents understood how much he missed Buzz, so they decided to help him find the dog and bring him back safely. But in the meantime, Bucktooth and his friends took the opportunity to sneak into Nick's attic. They carefully documented every piece of experimental equipment and decided to launch a mass resurrection ritual of their own. The group headed to the pet cemetery, dug up several recently buried animals, and performed the experiment on them. Not only did the animals come back to life, some of them had mutated. A giant turtle tall as a fortress tower, strange swamp ghouls, and a bizarre bat-cat hybrid emerged, all of them out of control, rampaging through the city. People fled in panic as cars were flattened and phone booths destroyed. It was pure chaos, like something out of an apocalypse. Nick finally found Buzz at the cemetery, but he also discovered the ransacked pet graves. Just as he was trying to make sense of it, his classmates rushed over in a panic, begging for help. They had accidentally created something truly terrifying with their experiment. When Nick arrived at the scene, the place was in ruins, covered in destruction. He noticed something crucial. When the swamp ghouls ate salted popcorn, they exploded. They were freshwater creatures, vulnerable to salt. Thinking quickly, Nick whipped up a large batch of heavily salted popcorn and used it to lure the creatures into a trap. The moment the ghouls swarmed the snack, they were wiped out, all at once.